Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see everybody. We appreciate everyone wearing the masks. As things have changed with the virus, we are back to wearing masks full time. Cantor and I will not be wearing them up here, but I think we've got enough distance that we're safe. So we will do our very best. We're thrilled to see you. Unfortunately, it means the two of us are going to keep distance from all of you, but know that our hearts are joined with yours. It is my great pleasure to welcome Rabbi Cantor, Marshall Portnoy, and he is going to lead us in some Shabbat Zmirot.
All right, together, come on. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Can you hear me with the mic? Can't hear me? You can hear me. They can. Try again. Bim, bam,
Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam.
Adam is dancing away in the back.
Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam.
Bim, 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 bam. Can't hear
Hey,
you.
Shabbat Shalom.
More.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Very softly, Bim. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bim,
Bim, bam. Bim,
bam.
bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bim,
Now, if
bam.
you'll turn to page 10 in your Siddur, we'll do a couple songs. You know, it's always a dilemma of the cantor that comes into a new congregation. What tunes does the congregation know? And if I sing a particular tune, do you know it? Will you be uncomfortable with it? And so forth. So the first thing we have is Hinei Matov, which is a great, great sentiment. And if there's somebody in the back, I think that the gain is up a little bit on this microphone. If you turn it down, we won't get that. There you go, my man. We won't get that interference. And so I don't know exactly, what to do for Hinei Matov because I don't know what you know. But for example, do you know Hinei Matov Manai Shevetachim? Seem to. Let me hear you.
Hinei matovu manai, Shabbatachim gam yachad. Hinei matov, Shabbatachim gam yachad. Hinei matov.
Shevetachim gam yachad. And then they know this one. Hinei Matov. Yes.
Shabbatachim gam yachad. Shabbatachim gam yachad.
Hinei Matov. Hinei Matov.
Shabbatachim gam yachad.
Well, I didn't know what you knew and what you didn't know, so I prepared something just for you, for Hinei Matov, and I hope you'll like it, and I hope you'll sing it with me. It goes like this. Hinei Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Will you try it with me? Hinei Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be together right here at 5505. I hope that this can last forever with you. I feel alive together. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Gam yachad. Do it again. My turn. Gam yachad. Your turn. And together. Shabbat shalom.
We turn back in our prayer books now to page 2 as we light the Shabbat candles. It's my pleasure to welcome Carol and Rick Rosenthal to lead us in the lighting of the Shabbat candles and in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shal Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahavatu v'ratzonu chilanu. Sorry. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehillah
Lemikrai Kodesh, Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu v'charta, Yotanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat kodeshecha, Ahava u'ratzon, Inchaltanu,
Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Sorry, I started too high.
We turn ahead in our prayer books to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. When we reach the final verse, we invite you to rise and to welcome the Sabbath bride. Just before we do that, though, turn to your neighbors right now so that you get comfortable standing up and moving around a little bit. Turn to your neighbors and say Shabbat Shalom to them. And before you sit down, when you sit down in a little bit, share a wish for Shabbat with them.
Recognize that melody? Some of you may have grown up with it. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. Again. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nikabla. But that's not the one we're going to do tonight. Okay, do you remember this one? If you go way back, you do. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Anybody? Oh, you remember, right? But that's not the one we're going to do. Okay? But I hope you know this one because this is the one we are going to do. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 pinei Shabbat. Pinei Shabbat nikabe. I'm going to get this pedal underneath me. La. Do it with me. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 pinei Shabbat. Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Ishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemo letiferet v'lihitila. Lai 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 la 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 pinei Shabbat. Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekol haberacha. Mikvei rosh mikedem mesucha. Sof maaseh b'machshava techila. Lai 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 la 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 pinei Shabbat. Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Top of the next page, we're on page 21. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hiva orech kumiori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai, alayech niglai, lai lai, la 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. La 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 pinei Shabbat. Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Boi v'shalom ateret pala. Gam b'simcha ובצהולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לה 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 לך דודי לה 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 לקראת כלה לה 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 פני שבת Pinei Shabbat nikabe la 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 lecha dodi la 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 likrat kala la 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 Pinei Shabbat nikabe la. getolim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu or yenovon b'seva dishenim v'rananim ki yashar Adonai tzori v'lo havilat bo.
We join together in singing Shalom Aleichem.
We'll sing a couple of versions of this too. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let me invite you back to the top of the page. See if you know this one. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch. Do you know this one? Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Setchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. Please rise.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'yal בדברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, חייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, וימרו, השמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקודשה. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירון בעלמה. אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
You together. Sound is doing funny things a little bit. I apologize. Middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
ומעביר יום ומהביא לילה, מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. ישראל, עמך תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ויהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 39, we continue together at the top. Please join with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
כי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ויאמרו, אדוני מלוך לעולם נאמר, כי יפדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. I sense that you're waiting for a hashkivenu. But I've got a hashkivenu. I wrote this hashkivenu about 2 years ago. I had a beloved colleague, and she was the cantor at Beth Emet in Albany, New York. And she had been there a while, and the congregation was kind enough to ask me for a work in her honor after her many years of distinguished service to the congregation. And I asked her what her favorite text was, and you know what? She gave me the same answer as 6 other commissions that I received. It was the same prayer. You know what it was? Hashkivenu. This touches us, doesn't it? Because it's a prayer that we say when we're about to be our most vulnerable, when we're asleep. And from ancient days until now, we're asking God, protect us, shield us from the things that are real, the real harms that can come to our lives. And those that we imagine as well, which to us are just as real as those bad dreams we have once in a while. It's a powerful, beautiful prayer. And more than any other, this is what I've been asked to write and to chant and to sing. It's beautiful. And this particular one, knowing Jody Scheckman as well as I did, I tried to really reach into her soul. And it's called Hashkivenu, peace of mind, which I think above all is what we yearn for in our lives. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'shalom. V'hamidenu l'chaim, V'hamidenu l'chaim. Bless us with peace of mind, O God, as we sleep, and wake us again to life. V'hamidenu l'chaim. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Watch over us and make us whole in the shadow of your wings. Protect us and keep us from harm. Watch over us and bring us home to you. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'shalom. V'hamidenu l'chaim. V'hamidenu
We continue on the next page, 44.
Well, I haven't heard you sing enough, and I haven't heard you sing loudly enough. So, we're going to go to Yismachu.
Should we have them stand up and stand on the chairs?
I've heard that you sing this really, really well, right?
Feel free to stand up. Feel free to dance even. Feel free to dance, stand, move. Pretend you're Adam and walk up and down the aisle. It's all good.
All right, here we go. Everybody singing for Shabbat, the Shabbat, the Shabbat. Yismechu
V'malechutecha,
Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Can you sing louder than that? V'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Very softly now. Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Very loudly, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Amikadishei Shevi תענגו מטובך שבת, וישבי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. Your turn. אשמחו ומלאכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו ומלאכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. Shabbat is a memory, a zeichen l'maseh v'reishit, a memory of the days of creation. Chemdat yamim oto karata. Chemdat yamim oto karata. Yell out Shabbat. Shabbat. Zeichen l'maseh v'reishit. Shabbat. 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 Every can't hear. Shabbat. 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 Shabbat, 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 Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei Shabbat. Korei Let's rise. I'm going to go to your key now. Isn't it joyful to be Jewish? Isn't it wonderful to have Shabbat? I think so, don't you? Elizabeth, you got to thank me because Adam is going to sleep tonight. Open my lips. Now I want to tell you, you have a distinction here. Because for years you've been doing, you didn't know it, but you were doing the Pittsburgh Amidah. This Amidah, nobody in the world does but your congregation. Now, I'll tell you the story of this Amidah. Because I heard my wonderful colleague, Laura Berman, do it. And I said, you know, I remember this Amidah, this Avot. But I can't remember where it's from. So you know, you that are lawyers and doctors and so forth, you know, you've often said, well, you know, we go to law school, we went to medical school, we went to school for accounting, whatever it is you learn. And most of the stuff that we learned there, we don't really use in our real life. You know, it's academic, we had to know it, but you know, day to day, we didn't use it. So this, I dug it up with the help of Carol Rosenthal. This piece, which you do, is actually part of the curriculum from the Jewish Theological Seminary that we all had to learn, and absolutely nobody ever did it. Because everybody throughout the world is going, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei, and so forth. But you still have this in your archives, and all of your Chazanim have done this Amida. So you're going to have to help me do it tonight, okay? I'm going to do my best. This is the only thing that I needed music for because, after all, it's the Pittsburgh Amida. Okay, you ready? I'm ready if you're ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei I know it's kind of pretty. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avod. I love that one. Umevi Geula Leman Shemo Bia Ozer Moshiach Umagein Baruch Atah Adonai Magein Avraham V'Yezra. I absolutely adore it. So thank you very, very much for not only bringing me to your esteemed congregation, but for teaching me the Pittsburgh Amida. I absolutely am crazy about it. And we're going to continue now with Gvurot on page 50, page 50. Okay? Ata gibor leolam Adonai mechaye hakol ata Rav lehoshia mohorid hatal mechalkel chayim bechesed mechaye hakol berachamim rabim somech noflim v'rofei cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato Lishenei afar michamocha ba'al givurot umidom elach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai chayei hakol atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukedoshim bechol yom yahalelucha sela Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue silently now through page 63, including both the prayers of the prayer book and the prayers of our own hearts. Please be seated at your own pace.
Ratzon imrefi Yiyu ratzon imrefi והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before thee, O Lord, my rock and my עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ויעקב ישראל.
We turn ahead now to page 261 as we prepare for the special blessings for Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh Elul will be coming Sunday evening and Monday, which means a month from then, Monday evening, we will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah. We are about to begin the month of Elul, which leads up to the high holidays. And come Tishrei, come the beginning of the new year, Cantor Portnoy will again join us on the Bima and will be sharing the holidays with us. But for now, we pray for a good month to get to that point. And so we join together. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. May the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our heart are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Elul, Yihiyeh bo Yom Sheni. The new month of Elul will begin on Sunday evening and Monday. May it be a month of blessing and a month of peace for all of us. Amen. Amen. And we turn back now to page 253, where we'll join together in the Mishaberach prayer, prayer for healing. As a congregation on this Shabbat, we especially think of Linda Denning, Jamie Adams, Pat Fields, Jerry Ann Morgan, Mark Derry, Susan Horn, Wolfgang Mergner, Priscilla Wade, George Gurneth, Kathy Lowry, Jane Garboden. If there are other names to mention, I invite you to rise at your place and as our eyes meet to say the names of those friends or loved ones aloud. Pray as well for Mickey Cooper. We join together in the words of the Mishaberach prayer in the middle of page 253.
Source of strength, who bless the
ones before us. Help us
find the courage to make our lives a blessing.
Amen. add the names of Larry, Lori, Randy, Mickey, and Doug to our prayers. And we conclude with the blessing, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, healer of the sick. And now, a moment to celebrate good things. Who's got something good to celebrate? Good this past week, this coming week? Who's got something they'd like to share other than that we're thrilled to have a guest cantor with us? How is that possible? Mazel tov. Wonderful. Nice. Cantor, how'd they do?
Oh, it's lovely, splendid, it's wonderful.
Good. Wonderful. Are they moving back here? Oh. Nice. Who else has good to share? Nice. Cantor, I think they want to sing a little bit. We got another one? Please. Nice. Very nice.
How much is that? The one with the waggly. Remember that one? Do you remember? Who sang it? Patty Page, Carol Rosenthal. Very nice. Me too, kid.
Lynn Fields writes in on the Zoom that she's finally finishing her Hebrew class, but she wrote it in English, not in Hebrew. Nu, was machst du? I think we're ready to sing, Cantor. What do you think?
I don't know, what shall we do? What shall we sing? Requests, okay. I'll tell you what. You just want to sing a little bit, right? Okay. All right, so I'll tell you what. I sing Chitty Bim. You sing Chitty Bum. If I sing Chitty Bum, you sing Chitty. Try, we'll start there. Chitty Bim. It's a little slow. There, we can just pick it up. Okay. Chitty Bim.
Cherry bomb.
Chitty Bum.
Cherry bim.
Chitty Bim Bum Bim Bum Bim Bum. Chitty Bim.
Cherry bomb.
Haha, very, very good. Okay. Chitty Bum.
Cherry bim.
Chitty Bim.
Cherry bomb.
Chitty Bim Bum Bim Bum Bim Bum. Oh, chitty bitty bitty
Bitty
bim
bim
bum
bum
bum.
bum. My cherry bitty bitty bim bum bum.
Oh, chitty bitty bitty bim bum bum. Oh, chitty bitty bitty bim bum bum. Chitty bim.
Cherry bomb. Cherry bim.
Chitty bim
Bim
bum
bum
bim
bim
bum
bum
bim
bim
bum.
bum.
Chitty bim.
Cherry bum.
Chitty
Cherry
bum.
bim.
Chitty bim bum bim bum bim bum.
My cherry bitty bitty bim bum bum. My cherry bitty bitty bim bum bum. My cherry bitty bitty bim bum bum.
Oh, chitty bitty bim bum bum. Now. Als ich will singen, lechoi doi di. It means when I begin to sing, lechoi doi di, sollst du singen. You sing,
Cherry bitty bim.
Very, very good. Als ich will singen, likras kalla, sollst du singen,
Cherry bitty
bum.
bum.
I got it? Okay, here we go. Als ich will singen, licho doidi, sollst du singen,
Cherry bitty bim.
Als ich will singen, likras kalla, sollst du singen,
Cherry bitty bum.
licho doidi,
Cherry bitty bim.
likroskala,
Jiri biri bum.
lechoy doidi likroskala, chiri biri 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 bum,
Bum bum.
chiri bim,
Jiri bum.
chiri bum,
Jiri bim. Bum bim bum bim bum. Jiri bum. Jiri bim. Bim bum bim bum bim bum. I jiri biri biri bim bum bum. I jiri biri biri bim bum bum.
hoy chiri biri biri bim bam bam, hoy chiri bim bam bam, chiri bim,
Jiri bum.
chiri bum,
Jiri bim.
chiri bim
Bum
bam
bim
bim
bum
bam
bim
bim
bum.
bam, chiri bim,
Jiri bum.
chiri bum, chiri bim bam bim bam bim bam, hoy chiri biri 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 bim bam bam, hoy chiri biri 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 bam.
Shabbat Shalom. Cantor Portnoy and I have just had the smallest of chances to get to know each other and to talk a little bit. But in a conversation we had just a few moments ago as we were walking into the sanctuary, I was reminded of 2 or 3 different pieces of my life coming together. Cantor Portnoy's late wife, Jane, was a world-renowned ophthalmologist and ophthalmological surgeon, and I'll never get that word out of my mouth correctly. And I said to him which eye was operated on. I took my glasses off. And she trained him well. He knew exactly which one. When I was a young child, I was born with astigmatism, with a lazy eye. And as a young child, I had to have surgery 3 times. Twice they did it in Omaha, and it didn't take. And so finally my parents sent me to Washington, D.C., to a guy named Marshall Parks, who was the national expert at the time, and he fixed it. And ever since then, whenever I meet an eye doctor, I walk up and say, "Tell me, what do I have?" And it's amazing. They can either look at the glasses or at me, either way, and they can tell it automatically. For me, having that little eye problem was something that connected me with my mother. My mother had the very same issue. And it had actually skipped a generation before her. One of her grandmothers had it. And one of our 3 might have it. We're not quite sure if she does. She clearly doesn't have it as significantly as I do. But that was part of what I shared with my mother. The other part was that the bed that I slept on growing up had been my mother's bed. And that bed frame had been her grandmother's bed frame before her. And today that bed frame is actually Zach's. And it was finally assembled this last week. 2 of the beds took a little while to get assembled. One of them is still not assembled, but that bed was finally assembled. And there is a real sensory connection for me with my mother and with that bed whenever I think of either that bed frame or my glasses. Because I can touch and feel that bed frame and know that my mother slept on that same bed for years just as I did. And I know that when Zach lays down on that bed, he feels the same thing, that there's a physical connection. And I know that when I looked out at the world with my warped vision, and I, car after car after car, found little dents and scratches in the upper right corner, just like my mother, that there was a connection that she and I shared. And there was a sensory thing. It was about seeing and it was about understanding. I was the only one of the 4 of us who had that eye issue. There was a point, finally, when I was in high school, when I was wearing contacts and the rest of them were wearing glasses. Didn't last long enough, but it was a nice little respite. But my mother and I shared that little eyesight issue. All of that comes back to me with this week's Torah portion. The very beginning, we begin with the word re'eh, see. And then it is, see, I set before you this day blessings and curses. Last week we had Shema, listen. And what our tradition is doing, or at least what Moses is doing in the words of Deuteronomy, is calling us to pay attention. Now, part of it is just listen up, pay attention, snap to. That's a piece of the equation. But more than that is this sensory thing that's going on, where Moses is saying, open your eyes, open your ears. Now, unfortunately, Moses doesn't get into, taste and touch and smell as much, although for sure in the conversations about manna, there were discussions about taste. And the touch of the stone and the tablets comes into play. Smell doesn't quite make it in our tradition quite as much. Catholics actually did a better job of that by adding incense in later. But what our tradition recognized was that it's one thing to grab attention. It's another thing to start working on the senses and to start recognizing that our senses connect ourselves with others. And so that when we see or hear or smell or taste or touch something, it is not merely a solo act. That when I do that, I'm sharing something with someone else. I can look out and see the most beautiful vista, but unless I can share it with somebody else and they can see that same vista, it's not complete. And I can hear beautiful singing, and we have. But if we hadn't heard it all together, we wouldn't be as fulfilled as we are right now. And when we share a good meal, there's a reason that we look at each other and say, I want to taste that, or would you like a taste of that? It is not so much in just the savoring individually, but it is the collective. It is the joint endeavor that the senses encourage and enhance. And so it is not just paying attention, it's not just speech, it's not just our own senses, but the sensory piece of tradition, the sensory piece of Judaism, is one of those little subtle links that keeps us together as a people. I could ask you right now, where is the best bagel in Pittsburgh? And I know somebody would say Pigeon, and somebody would say this one, and somebody would say that one, and that's fine. And I know if I were to ask you, what's a good matzo ball taste like? Somebody would say a sinker, and somebody would say a floater, but I know this. When you tell me which one you like better, you feel authentic. That gives you a sense of connection to the tradition, to each other, to our ancestors, to our descendants. In fact, to be honest, it's one of the hardest things to teach somebody who's choosing Judaism. And one of the regular assignments I give them is to go find a half a dozen recipes of matzo ball soup or challah or latkes or whatever it is and make them all. And then come back and tell me which one was best and why. Because I want that person to feel the authenticity that you and I feel. That moment when we bite into a good piece of challah and we know, this is good challah. That's part of who we are as a people. It is engaging those senses and using those senses to connect ourselves with each other. So Cantor and I walked in. We were a rabbi and a cantor at different parts of our lives, coming together. Neither of us could have predicted this 6 months ago. Not even close. And yet here we are, smiling, getting to know each other, enjoying our company with each other, and recognizing that our sensory reactions are making this connection all that much sweeter. And so when I walked in, he, because of our sensory conversation, got to tell me about his late wife. And I had this wonderful flashback to my mother and to my son. And in that moment, we shared something powerful. The senses wake us up. They bring us into a new place. And so as we begin Elul, as we begin to prepare for the holidays, it's not enough to just be up here in our heads. Use all of the openings. Let our ears be open, our eyes be open, our nose be open, our mouths be open. Let us take all of that in as we prepare for a new year. Let us engage all of our senses. And together we will celebrate a sweet and happy and soulful and melodic new year. I hope you like that tune because you're going to hear a lot of it. A lot. I mean, a lot of that one.
But you know, as I'll discuss with you on Slichot, that's really a very important part of what defines us as a people. Now, you don't know how I'm going to tie this in with Sirius XM, but I am, because today, for the first time on Sirius XM, I heard a broadcast of Lucille Ball interviewing people. I guess it was a show that she did years ago. And you probably don't know how I'm going to tie in Lucille Ball with, but I am. And I'll tell you how. Because if you heard da 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 da, if you're a certain age, you know that that's going to be what? You know that that's going to be what? Thank you. Okay. So it's like a theme song, right? So our genius as a people is that we have theme songs for all of our different observances. And they really create that visceral connection to our holidays, just as surely as you know when Lucy and Desi were going to be on the air. So this is an unashamed pitch for your attendance at Slichot, Saturday night, August 29th, right here at Temple Sinai. How do you like the way I kind of tweet that?
I like it. I like it. We're very much looking forward to having Cantor Portnoy with us, not just for all of the holidays, the big celebrations in here, but also things like Slichot, where he'll be teaching and sharing a little bit more of his soul with us. A few announcements this evening. Thanks to Mike Kalura for being our greeter this evening. Our music program is made possible with support by Edgar Snyder and an anonymous donor, and clearly we appreciate that giving this evening even more than usual. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 8:30, Shabbat morning services at 9:15. This Wednesday, Parshat HaShavua class will be in person and on Zoom both at noon. Evening meditation with Rhonda Rosen will be at 6. The Rosh Chodesh group will be meeting Tuesday, August 10th at 7:30, and they are reading Whitefish and Essay. Contact Lynn Lazar, she'll have more information. We are thrilled to be able to be together in person right now. None of us can say for sure how long this is going to last. So our COVID working group is working hard to do everything they can to follow the latest advice and to make the best decisions both for the health and safety of all of us involved, as well as for sort of the soul of our congregation. So at the moment, the plan is to have High Holidays in person. We'll see what the Delta variant does and how that all unfolds. So pay attention. You'll be getting all sorts of announcements, I'm sure, and know that there are many, many people hard at work trying to get this right and trying to do what's best for each one of us. Watts is going to have an outdoor Havdalah gathering on Saturday, August 21st. They are welcoming some new rabbi and his family to town. I hope the rabbi shows up. Rabbi's wife, did you know about that? So we're looking forward to that. As of this moment, we are still looking for High Holiday greeters because we're still planning to be in person. So if you're willing to be a greeter and you're vaccinated, please do let us know and sign up. Contact Sunshine Figlio to become a greeter. And shofar blowers. At the moment, we are still planning to blow shofar in person. Again, one must be vaccinated to be able to blow shofar. And we may end up just aiming them sideways rather than in at us. But we'll still be able to hear the sound. So if you are a shofar blower or you'd like to learn, please do let Judy Mahan know about that. You can order your Erev Rosh Hashanah take-home dinner online. The deadline, the cutoff is Wednesday, September 1st. Monday, September 6th is the pickup time. So please go ahead and order those. And our book club is starting again, and the book is Guardian of the Dawn. So please contact Ann Fagan for details about that. I think that's all of the announcements, at least all that I've got. So we turn back to our prayer book to page 282. We invite everyone to rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol,
Tekadu le'yotzer breshit.
שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך
Please be seated. We pause now to think of those who came before us, those who gave us life, those with whom we shared life, those who came together to form this congregation and enhance our community. As a congregation, we recall those whose yahrzeit occurs in the coming days. And if you hear the name of a loved one, we invite you to rise as you hear their name read. Nancy Alter, Helene Aronoff, M.A. Baskind, Mary Benkovitz, Gloria Berkowitz, Sarah Berman, Edna Braham, Bernice Brenner, Pete Buncher, Allegra Simcha Dana, David Davidson, Ben Aaronworth, Joseph Elkins, Rita Entrikin, Stephen C. Feinstone, Jacob Freed, David Green, Max M. Greenberg, Charlotte Hoffman, Morton Itzkowitz, David Kalk, Joseph Kosis, Bertha Landau, Violet London Marcus, Frances Mullins, Eleanor Mall, Salah Mordechai, Ruth Mulfeder, Sophie Newman, Marcia Esman Raphael, Charles Reisenstein, Ray Rosenthal, Ben Sabalowski, Marcus Saphir, Betty Schillmeister, Ruth Schwartz, Sarah Shrinsky, Ann Skiggin, Samuel Pat Solomon, Sam Spokane, Marvin Tanzer, Renee Manch Taylor, L. Isaac Torben, Sophie Mel Winkle, Meta Weinstein, Anna Wexler, Ruth Wexler, Alan David Bud Yorkin, Rose Zager, Lily Zuckerman. And to those names, we add the names of those taken from us only in recent weeks: Dr. Jane Portnoy, Joseph Singer Wildberg, Beverly Cordish Leibovitz, Marilyn Brody, and Amanda Cohn. We rise as a congregation and we join together in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam l'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Hoseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May God grant comfort to all the bereaved among us. And together we say, Amen. And we conclude this evening as the cantor leads us.
In Adon Olam, page 321, and this is going to be your choice. I am here but to please. You see,
Don't buy it.
I'm trying to be very politically correct. So I know what the Pittsburgh Amida is. I'm trying to find out what is the Pittsburgh Adon Olam. Is it this one? Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Ekol. You know, you can be seated. We're going to be another half hour. Okay, let's try it again. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Ekol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'chefso Kol Hazai Melech Shemoni. Is that the one you like? No, it's Nishka. Okay. How about this? Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem. No, less familiar. Okay. Adon Olam Asher Malach בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא האדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו. Is that the one you like? Getting a little bit more nods. You know, you got a tough congregation. You're good luck. All right, okay, okay. All right, ready? Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא יהיה בתפארה. How about one of your suggestions? Someone from the congregation have one that like suggest perhaps? Nothing? Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to suggest. Let's end the way we began and just wish each other a happy new year by saying Hinei ma tov u'mana'im shevet achim gam yachad. How wonderful and wonderful, wonderful it is. Hi Adam. Hi my little boy. Adam, the shirt and the shoes, the color combination is terrific. Wowie, wowie, so matching. Ready? הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. You sing it for Adam, come on. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב Umanayim shevet achim. Clap. Gam yachad. How good it is to be together right here at 5505. I want you all to sing together because it's great to be alive on Shabbat. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim. Gam yachad, hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim. Gam yachad, your turn. Gam yachad. See, sing gam yachad. Ready? Gam yachad. My turn. Gam yachad, and together. Gam yachad. Shabbat shalom.